I apologize. My phone died, so you'll notice that I have a wardrobe change. Being number one in the league, I've decided to don the GOAT jersey, Mr. Tom Brady. Cheers to you, Tom Brady. And your 5 Super Bowls. The last one being against Malcolm's bum-ass Falcons, who, lest we forget, had a 28-3 lead with 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Cheers to the greatest comeback in Super Bowl history. You'll also notice that I have a drink selection change. I'm now drinking Twisted Teas. I've finished my Coors Lights. And the time it took my phone to charge, I had my nice spaghetti. Nice guy spaghetti. Hey, spaghettis. Spaghettos. Escagabagis. It's spaghetti. And I finished my Coors Lights. But I'm back. And we were talking about Josh Turner's team. And I was giving Josh Turner a little bit of a handy with his Cam Newton. Tyler Lockett, really good pickup, man. Gotta give it to you. Cheers to you, Tyler Lockett. Man, projected 20 points a game. My stupid ass, when I was doing the points, decided to let return game yardage count and didn't draft Tyler Lockett. So fuck me and fuck Shay for drafting Doug Baldwin instead of Tyler Lockett. I mean, clearly that is the guy in Seattle, man. He is something special. We've been waiting for it for 2 years now. The guy's been lackluster, and now he is the guy. Let's go ahead. Let's look at Tyler Lockett's numbers. He is number 32 overall in fantasy football. That includes quarterbacks, tight ends, wide receivers, running backs. That is a tough crowd, considering the fact that even the most mediocre of quarterbacks, guys like Joe Flacco and Dak Prescott, Blake Bortles, are ranked higher than this guy. So that really doesn't reflect the work that he's put in. He's put in 22, 18, 30, 15, 28, and 12. That 12 wasn't great, especially against a really dreadful Oakland team, but they found a way to grind it out. Derek Carr just looks terrible, completely unrosterable in fantasy football. To be honest with you, I would gladly start Joe Flacco or Dak Prescott over Derek Carr, and that's for certain. With Tyler Lockett, bargain pick, possibly of the year, bargain pick. Good for you, Josh. Good for Tyler. I'm really happy to see him going out there, doing his thing, doing it on special teams, surprise run plays, catching big touchdowns. He came down with one. I forget who he was playing. I think maybe it might have been Chicago. Oh, man, I can't remember who they were playing, but he had a game where he came down with a really amazing fourth quarter touchdown catch through double coverage with a pass that only Russell Wilson would be able to throw, really thread the needle over the top. If he didn't catch it, it would not have been an interception by any means. So Tyler Lockett, great pickup, good on that. Jordan Howard, really a bum. I'm going to do a twofer here because I see two of them right next to each other. Jordan Howard and Allen Robinson. I mean, here's two guys that are touted as number ones at their position for each team that they play on. Allen Robinson, who was a Jacksonville Jaguar for a while, and now he's a Chicago Bear receiver. Always got that number one title. Never really figured it out. Never could stay healthy. We're not looking at Justin Blackmon shit now. We're basically looking at maybe Kelvin Benjamin, Willie Snead territory on this guy. It sucks because of his name and where you have to draft him. You really can't trade him for anything great. So you're really kind of railroaded into starting this guy. Sucks. Sorry, Josh. Nobody's going to trade you for him. he's not even in the top 100 here. He's got 10, 19, 9, 10, 18. It almost seems like a flash in the pan when this guy has a good game, so that sucks. And Jordan Howard, too. Here's another guy. He's ranked 176 overall. 16, 10, 16, 2, and 3. Those are not numbers for the number one running back in that team. That would presumably end up being what's his name? Tariq Cohen. I roster him in another league. I drafted him. I was really high on him. Morrow got him in our league. Morrow's got a great team. It's looking not amazing because of his big what-ifs. He's got Quincy Enunwa. He's got Callaway, David Johnson, really a big upset. Isaiah Crowell, who's basically a dart throw every week. Eckler, who you're really banking on. When you have Eckler, you're banking on Melvin Gordon getting an injury. If he doesn't, Eckler's got a steady, 8, 9-point floor. Yeah, 6, 15, 14, 8, 12, 23. As long as Melvin Gordon's healthy, Eckler's really not very viable. So, not as good as a team as it looked like when he drafted it, but whatever. The guy's still hanging in there. Tied for third with wins. But Turner, let's go back to Turner's team. Turner, you got Allen Robinson, Jordan Howard, two really bum picks. I could have told you that, but I wouldn't because we're in the same league. But you also have Alshon Jeffrey, who looks like he's going to have a career year here. I think he was really victimized in Chicago by having not strong quarterbacks. Being the number one guy on a team that doesn't have a strong quarterback really sets you up for kind of disaster. You're always going to draw really good coverage. Even if a team's defense isn't amazing, you're going to get their best guy, and he's just not a guy that is prolific enough to outlast a bad quarterback. But, now he's playing with Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is the guy. I mean, really a solid start. Trey, come on, man. Your team's going nowhere. Your season's going nowhere. You got to try to dump one of these quarterbacks off, man. Maybe get a back-end RB2 or WR2. Something, because there's no sense in you having Goff and Wentz. It just doesn't make any sense with the team that you have. I have Watson and Mahomes, but with the team I have, I'm not dealing them for anything less than a fucking king's ransom. So you really need to do something with Wentz, man. You got Goff starting. Use Wentz and get something better. But as far as Turner goes, man, you got Cam Newton. That's a viable starter every week. That's good for you. Alshon Jeffrey looks like he is a steady 10-point floor, if not more. 23, 6, 28 in 3 starts. He's only going to get better. Ertz is definitely the guy to have on that team, but he's a tight end. He's not going to be lining up the same way that Jeffrey is, and Jeffrey has the talent to score a lot of touchdowns, so good for you on that. Your big pick is clearly Saquon Barkley. You took him in the first round. You took him in the bottom 8. So good for you for having respect, having faith, having confidence in that guy, because he is the best pure runner in the NFL, and it's not close. If Leonard Fournette could stay healthy, he might have competition on that front, but Leonard Fournette cannot stay healthy, which is really unfortunate because that's a really nice guy, man. He's a good guy. He's got strong ties to his community. He donates a lot to charity. He is a fantastic athlete. Not a hell of a pass catcher, but he's a guy that, man, you give this guy 8 inches and he'll blow it open, and man, it's a real shame to see the way Leonard Fournette's career is going, because he is a hell of an athlete. But that being said, I don't think that he's nearly as trained physically as Saquon Barkley. And you got him, and good for you, man. Good for you taking him early. You took him before Melvin Gordon went. You took him before Odell. You took him before Antonio Brown. You took him before Hopkins. You took him before a lot of guys that a lot of people would have taken first. Good for you for taking Saquon Barkley. That is the high point of your team, and he is the high point of his team. You have him, and you have Odell, and you have nothing else on the New York Giants. And people are really starting to hate Odell, not undeservingly. The guy is a constant distraction, a huge baby, just a complete garbage person that puts up good numbers strictly out of volume. Not to say that he's not a tremendous athlete, which he is. However, on a team like the Patriots, Chris Hogan would get more targets than Odell, strictly for the fact that teams that have any respect for themselves won't pander and reward behavior like Odell Beckham. He is what's wrong with football. He is a guy that makes $90 million on a contract, looks like a jackass, acts like a jackass, and has had, 1 or 0 touchdowns this year. So, I can't talk more negatively about the guy. He's got the talent, his one-handed catches, whatever, fuck you. You're out there talking shit to fucking nobodies, to these fucking reporters that don't know their asses from their fucking elbows, talking shit about your team, talking shit about Eli Manning, who had the most starts consecutively of all time before. Of course, the shitbag Giants organization benched him for Geno Smith for half a fucking game. I mean, come on now. The team is in shambles. I hate Odell, but Saquon is really a bright spot. Hopefully the Giants go, I don't know, like 3-13, and maybe some dude in college steps up, looks like a fucking viable candidate, and they can get a quarterback. I always hated Eli Manning, but at this point I feel bad for the guy. He's done nothing but win them championships, come out there, get smacked up, beaten down, bruised on the back page of the New York Post and the New York Times, not the New York Times, the Daily News, on the back page where the sports are. They really shit on the guy. He looks like he has Down syndrome. He always lived in his brother's shadow, yet he has the same amount of Super Bowl rings as him. Clearly nowhere near the athlete or the quarterback. It's really got to chap Peyton's ass. I mean, the guy's the nicest guy in the world, but you got to admit, having the same amount of Super Bowl rings as your little brother, who completely is just not great and never has been great. He's never been fantasy great. He's never been reality great. He's had a serviceable team around him, but the guy comes out and he plays. He shows up every day. So maybe Saquon could learn a thing or two from him about that. But the guy, people are bouncing off Saquon. They talked about his thighs in the ESPN Nude magazine, and holy fucking hell, did you see when fucking the guy on Philly tried to tackle him on Monday Night Football and literally bounced off his thigh, had him dead to rights, and he fucking broke off for an extra 5 yards. That is the future of running in the NFL. He makes Ezekiel Elliott look like a little giant. He makes it look like an SNL skit. This guy is everything he was supposed to be and then some, and I wouldn't be surprised if he is a top 2, 3, at most 5 running back this year. As far as pure runners go, in standard scoring, which we don't do, but in standard scoring, I think Saquon Barkley might be the best running back in the NFL, and I don't think I'll ever regret saying that. I hope his career is bright and fruitful, because it's really sad when you see these guys go down. But Josh Turner, Saquon Barkley, cheers to you. You got Gronk. I'll never support drafting Gronk, because you got to take him in the second round. The guy is extremely injury prone, and you're on a New England team who over the past 3 years has really incorporated the run into their game. James White has become a fantasy elite. Sexy Rexy Rex Burkhead looked great last year. You always had guys like Falk and Vereen. Now you have Sonny Michael, Sony Michel, however the fuck you want to say his name. I don't know. Whenever I watch the game, the sound's off on the fucking TV at work, so I don't even know how to pronounce this guy's fucking name at this point. But they're incorporating the run, and that's really prolonging Tom Brady's career, which, after letting Jimmy Garoppolo go, you gotta prolong Brady's career because you let go of the future of the team, Bill. You let go of the future of the team, you fucking idiot. Jimmy G is nice. Jimmy G is gonna be great next year. Jimmy G is a fucking stud. R.I.P. For my team, at least. Well, for the season. But that being said, you got to take Gronk pretty early, and he seems to be paying dividends for you. He's ranked in the bottom 100 of fantasy football, which is great. But he has really been lackluster. 22, 3, 9, 8, 13, and 13. In the beginning of the year, all his games were projected over 15 points. Those projections have gone down predictably. I would have told you that. I could have told you that. I'm a big New England fan, but there are a lot of mouths to feed in New England. And at this point, Gronk is just not the same guy. How could you sustain a career where you could carry 3 or 4 grown men on you at a time? I mean, the guy's... He doesn't have bones like glass, but he's wearing more fucking armor than Iron Man at this point. He's got arm pads, leg pads. It's slowing him down, dude. You gotta understand, a professional athlete, just making him wear one fucking arm pad might slow him down 2%, which might, really fuck you over with a strong defense. Plus, you got Julian Edelman, you got Josh Gordon, you got Sonny, you got James White. You got Chris Hogan, you got all these guys, you have all these weapons. I mean, drafting a Patriot in the second round is just ill-advised. I won't cheers you to that. I will say Rob Gronkowski in the second round. Come on, man! Come on, man. He's too injury prone. He's too injury prone. You don't take Rob Gronkowski in the second round. Someone has to. You don't have to be that guy. And you were, and you will pay for it, as I believe you have, as noted by the fact that you have to start him. If you have him, you have to start him, and he's giving you a 4-point game, a 9-point game, and an 8-point game. He's giving you 3 games of less than 10 points. Only 1 game over 20, and the other 2 are 13s. I mean, that is not tight end 1 numbers. You could have waited 4 or 5 rounds and gotten Jimmy Graham. You could have taken, if you were hell-bent on taking a tight end, in the second round you could have taken my boy, Zach Ertz, who I made a point of taking in the 3rd round in 2 leagues, and he is paying dividends for me. That is the guy to own in the NFL. There's also Travis Kelce. You could have taken him. Travis Kelce or Zach Ertz definitely would have been a better advised move, and the best part about it is you didn't have to take him in the second round. You could have, after taking Saquon, you could have gotten a nice wide receiver, and then tackled a tight end after that. There were good guys out there to be had. Fuck, man, you could have had Michael Thomas. You could have had Keenan Allen. You could have had like a Tyreek Hill. He took Rob Gronkowski. He took a tight end in the second round, man. You got to really be confident of it. And his past few years in fantasy football haven't been great. His actual numbers in real life are solid. However, the problem with Rob Gronkowski is he'll put up 31 game 10 the next game. Whereas he'll win you a game, he'll also lose you a game. So that was an error on your part. Jordan Howard, man, every time I see Jordan Howard on your team, what a bum, man. He was a bum last year. He's a bum this year. Tariq Cohen's going to take his job. If he doesn't, it'll turn into 3rd down all the time. Man, I can't even imagine anyone wanting Jordan Howard or him being a viable trade at this point. The ship has sailed. You should have traded him a while ago. You stuck by him. I don't respect your loyalty. Jordan Howard sucks. It's getting a little hot in here. Let me pop this off. And pop on another Red Sox jersey. Cheers to New England sports being number one, predictably. And here's to one of the greats of all time. Pedro Martinez. Lest we forget his 2000 All-Star Game performance where he struck out Sammy Sosa, Barry Bonds, and Mark McGwire back to back to back. Pedro Martinez, Boston Red Sox. Cheers to you. You got Michael Crabtree. Solid pickup every year. His career has really seen a resurgence over the past 2 or 3 years. Because he was a fucking straight overhyped, overrated bum in San Fran. The guy did nothing. He was a guy that you had to take in the second or third round every year. And, I mean, the guy just wasn't worth it. Serious negative energy. The guy's a shit starter. He's a ghetto motherfucker. He doesn't take no shit from anybody. He doesn't understand that it's just a game and people talk shit and he comes back with fists. So, Crabtree, I drafted him. He went to waivers and you got him. Whatever, man. Good for you. But it wasn't the right fit for my team. The WPC, the warm pink centers, doesn't have room for that bullshit. Also, John Brown has been absolutely running wide receiver at that team. And I ultimately made justice for my team, for myself. Because when I took Michael Crabtree, my phone had frozen. I didn't have an ADP list. Not to make excuses. But I realized, fuck, I didn't get Will Fuller when I wanted to get him. That was my one regret in the draft, is that I didn't get Will Fuller. And I took Michael Crabtree instead. Ultimately, I wound up dropping Crabtree, picking up John Brown. John Brown had a couple good weeks. I dumped him off for Will Fuller. I got Fuller anyway. Fuller hasn't done shit since I got him, but I'm not giving him up because once Watson figures out what the fuck to do with his life, and once they fire their offensive fucking coach and they put a decent kind of line around Deshaun Watson, Will Fuller scored a touchdown in 14 consecutive games with Deshaun Watson. I mean, I'm not giving that guy up. So, but Michael Crabtree, good enough. Marshawn Lynch, you're way high on him. Nobody else in the world is. He's way past his prime. He's not beast mode. He's least mode. He's feast mode. He's better than he was last year. And the guy's putting a little bit of effort and trying to rejuvenate himself, trying to get back to being a running back one, which he'll never be again. Since the Super Bowl, where he could have won it for them, and he just opted to lose to the New England Patriots. He's just never going to be the same. He's never going to be that guy. You're high on him. You tried to trade him like 10 times for like fucking top end guys. It's not going to happen, Josh. You're stuck with him for the year. You better hope he figures it out. Oakland's really fucking bad, man. Last year they looked like a competitor. This year, not so much. Oakland sucks. Derek Carr sucks. That team is garbage. Amari Cooper's trash. Jared Cook is a bright spot on that team that they're not using properly. So, just whatever, man. You got a decent team. Larry Fitzgerald, I don't blame you for drafting him because he's perennially amazing, but he's not in the top 200 anymore, bro. I'm so sorry, and it really hurts my heart to see that. Larry Fitzgerald, man. 15, 5, 2, 5, 5, 8. Larry, oh, fuck, poor bastard. It's not on him. It is absolutely not on him, man. That team just sucks out of nowhere, man. They suck out loud. Oof. I'm so sorry, Josh, but man, Fitz is done. There's no coming back from this start. So you got Lockett, Barkley, Cam, and Jeffries. You could do something. I don't know if you're a playoff team. It's only 12 people. Are you in the top end? Maybe. Maybe. Good luck to you, man. You were the first person that believed in me in Cheesecake. I believe in you. I say your team can make the playoffs. You got to deal with Shea, Jamil. I don't think that Mike D's team is going to sustain being in the top 6 for very long. He's number 6 now. He enjoyed 3 weeks of undefeatedness. I don't think that's going to last. I say that you have a possibility to make the top 6. Shea's team's overrated. Jamil, classically, comedically bad draft, but he's a trade or two away from having a good team. So now let's go into those teams. Let's go into Jamil's team. Jamil, one of my good friends, love Jamil, who has one of the best team names ever. He got his team name changed, and I guess he just respected the comedic brilliance of Josh Turner changing his team name and just kind of left it there. Big girls blocked for me. Man, Jamil's love for fat girls is what makes us skinny guys happy. Someone's willing to take them so they don't bother us. Jamil, I love you, brother. Russell Wilson, great pick. Always got to take him. If he's there, take him. I believe you had him last year, too. You're a Seattle guy. I know you're big on their defense, even though they're not the Legion of Boom anymore. They're Legion of Gloom at best. Emmanuel Sanders, great pick. DT is not what he used to be. Keenum's got a boner for Sanders. Wound up working out for you big time, man. Good for you. Good for picking up Emmanuel Sanders. Cheers to Emmanuel Sanders. I need to get a beer, though. Cheers to Emmanuel Sanders. Good pickup. Cooper Kupp. Great pickup. He's a poor man's Adam Thielen. He's in a 3-headed monster in St. Louis with the Rams. What are you going to do? He's got him, Robert Woods, and Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks leading the top of the depth chart, but Kupp is clearly the guy to have on that team. I have Woods. I love Woods. I believe in Woods. He has the least health risks out of the 3 of them. Kupp's putting up the numbers too. What do we got here? We got 18, 13, 19, 40, 22, and then he got hurt. 1 point. Can't hold that 1 point game against him. You lump it down, minus last week. The guy's ranked 45th. He would be ranked 30th if he finished last week. So Cooper Kupp, great pickup. Future breakout all-star. If he can stay healthy, which it does not seem is the case, because now 2 weeks in a row he's been knocked out of a game. He has a possible MCL injury. He might miss 2 to 3 weeks, making me as a Woods owner very, very happy. As an NFL fan, I don't like to see that. Here's a guy with a ton of talent, no name recognition until the end of last year, going into this year. Jared Goff, great quarterback. You have Todd Gurley, really keeping teams honest.